100 Civics Questions with Answers. Part 3. Questions 31 to 45, U.S. Citizenship Test in cartoon format.
Did you learn something new today? Tap like to let us know. The room had a sense of focus and energy, as the students were well into their rhythm now. Andrea smiled as she watched her class, eager to see how they would handle the next set of questions. The projector hummed to life once again, displaying the next batch of civics questions. Today, they would dive deeper into the roles and functions of the U.S. government. With each question, the students were gaining more insight into the structure of the nation, and it was clear they were becoming more confident.
All right, everyone, we're halfway through now. Let's keep up the great work. I'll ask the next set of questions, and after each one, I'll explain the correct answer. Ready to go? Question 31. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? A. To print money. B. To set speed limits. C. To control education.
I'll go with A. To print money.
That's correct. One of the powers of the federal government is to print money. This power is granted to the federal government in the Constitution to maintain a stable and unified currency system across the country. Question 32. How many justices are on the Supreme Court? A. 7. B. 9. C. 12.
I'll go with B. 9.
Exactly. The Supreme Court has 9 justices, including 1 Chief Justice. This number has been set since 1869, and these justices are responsible for interpreting the Constitution and making rulings on some of the nation's most important legal issues. Question 33. What is the rule of law? A. No one is above the law. B. The government makes the laws. C. Only citizens must follow the law.
I'll go with A. No one is above the law.
Correct. The rule of law means that everyone, regardless of their position or status, must follow the law. This principle is central to the functioning of a democratic society, ensuring fairness and justice for all. Question 34. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? A. The Speaker of the House. B. The Vice President. C. The Secretary of State.
I'll go with B. The Vice President.
Exactly. If the president can no longer serve, the vice president assumes the presidency. This succession is outlined in the Constitution to ensure continuity of leadership in case of an emergency. Question 35. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? A. The Speaker of the House. B. The Chief Justice. C. The Secretary of Defense.
I'll go with A. The Speaker of the House.
Correct. If both the president and vice president are unable to serve, the Speaker of the House is next in line to become president. This line of succession continues with other officials in the government. Question 36. When was the Constitution written? A. 1787. B. 1776. C. 1791.
I'll go with A. 1787.
Exactly. The Constitution was written in 1787 during the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. It placed the Articles of Confederation and established the framework for the federal government we have today. Question 37. What is the economic system in the United States? A. Market economy. B. Command economy. C. Mixed economy.
I'll go with A. Market economy.
Correct. The U.S. has a market economy where decisions about production, investment, and distribution are guided by the supply and demand of goods and services. The government plays a role but generally allows for free market principles to operate. Question 38. What is the highest court in the United States? A. The District Court. B. The Court of Appeals. C. The Supreme Court.
I'll go with C. The Supreme Court.
Exactly. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the United States. It has the ultimate authority in interpreting the Constitution, and its decisions can shape the nation's laws and policies. Question 39. What did the Declaration of Independence do? A. Ended slavery in the United States. B. Announced our independence from Great Britain. C. Established the U.S. Constitution.
I'll go with B. Announced our independence from Great Britain.
Correct. The Declaration of Independence, adopted on July 4, 1776, officially declared that the American colonies were breaking away from Great Britain and establishing their own sovereign nation. Question 40. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? A. Thomas Jefferson. B. George Washington. C. Benjamin Franklin.
I'll go with A. Thomas Jefferson.
Exactly. Thomas Jefferson is the primary author of the Declaration of Independence. His eloquent words expressed the colony's desire for freedom and laid the groundwork for the nation's independence. Question 41. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. A. The Civil War. B. The Revolutionary War. C. The Vietnam War.
I'll go with A. The Civil War.
Correct. The Civil War, fought from 1861 to 1865, was one of the most significant conflicts in U.S. history, primarily centered around the issues of slavery and states' rights. Question 42. Who vetoes bills? A. The Vice President. B. The President. C. The Supreme Court.
I'll go with B. The President.
Exactly. The President has the power to veto bills, meaning they can refuse to sign a bill into law if they disagree with it. However, Congress can override a veto with a 2/3 majority vote in both houses. Question 43. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. Name one of the writers. A. Thomas Jefferson. B. John Jay. C. James Madison.
I'll go with B. John Jay.
Correct. John Jay was one of the authors of the Federalist Papers, a series of essays written to support the ratification of the U.S. Constitution. James Madison and Alexander Hamilton also contributed to these important writings. Question 44. There were 13 original states. Name 3. A. New Hampshire, New York, and New Jersey. B. California, Florida, and Texas. C. Arizona, Oregon, and Washington.
I'll go with A. New Hampshire, New York, and New Jersey.
Exactly. The 13 original states were the first colonies to declare independence from Great Britain. They eventually formed the foundation of the United States after the Revolutionary War. Question 45. How many U.S. senators are there? A. 50. B. 100. C. 200.
I'll go with B. 100.
Correct. There are 100 U.S. senators, 2 from each state. This equal representation in the Senate ensures that each state, regardless of population, has a voice in the legislative process. Great job, everyone. You've completed the third set of questions. Keep practicing and reviewing, and we'll continue with more next time. You're doing fantastic.
The students packed up their materials, their faces filled with confidence and determination. They were making steady progress toward mastering the civics test, and there was a sense of accomplishment in the air. With every session, they grew more prepared, ready to tackle the next challenge that lay ahead.